Should be all set to go.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let's roll.
Is it working?
Welcome everyone to Cinema Regulars, the movie review show where we see so many movies in theaters that the employees know us by name and they don't ask us what movies we're seeing, they ask us how many. Now today we have a few guests with us. We're going to have Taylor and Merrick joining us throughout the podcast, so we'll bring them in as needed. But today we are looking at 4 new movies. One we kind of slept on for a little bit. I mean, we saw it right away, but then it was the only thing we saw that day, so we had to wait till we saw more to warrant the podcast. And that is
We ran out of
Beetlejuice-
movies to watch.
and that is Beetlejuice as our first movie. And then on our second movie day, we crammed in The Substance, Never Let Go, and The Killer's Game. So pretty stacked episode we got here, Isaac.
Absolutely.
So let's get things going right along and bring Taylor in to talk about Beetlejuice.
Welcome, Taylor.
Hey guys.
Hi, Taylor.
Hey. Great to
Absolutely.
be back.
Welcome back. How are things over on the other side of the country at the moment?
Yeah.
Well, I go to a very small local theater, so I can join you guys on the big blockbusters, but I'm kind of sad I'm missing out on the lower budget films, but I'm excited to be back nonetheless. So
That's true. Which is really sad because the lower budget stuff and really under the radar stuff, like Slingshot we covered last time, seems to be the stuff
Slingshot.
Slingshot seems to be doing the stuff doing a lot better quality wise. So without further ado, Isaac, would you like to bring us up to speed on the plot of Beetlejuice?
Absolutely. So, 3 generations of the Dietz family return home to Winter River after an unexpected family tragedy. Still haunted by Beetlejuice, Lydia's life soon gets turned upside down when her rebellious teenage daughter discovers a mysterious portal to the afterlife. When someone says Beetlejuice's name 3 times, the mischievous demon gleefully returns to unleash his very own brand of mayhem.
All right. With that out of the way, what do we want to complain about first?
Oh my god. Oh. It's hard to choose. Let's talk about the fact that this movie cannot pick a plot line to save its life.
yes. Yep.
It cannot
Yeah.
pick a plot line to save its life.
They were juggling way too much all at once. They bit off way more than they could chew. And then like all the plot lines that they were trying to keep up in the air all at once all fell flat super fast. Like every single one was
got
resolved within 20 seconds.
Literally
If that
seconds.
most.
Like it was so fast, like so quick. And
Right.
I like the one that I always like. The movie's been out for long enough at this point. Spoiler is kind of out the window. Like
Yeah,
the
we're done
part
with that.
where you have the undead ex-wife, and then the new guy that's trying to be the husband. Like they're both bad plot. They're both like the bad guys, I guess, of this movie. And they're just like, how are we gonna solve this? How are we gonna figure sandworm? It just eats them. There you go.
Well,
Problem solved.
here's the thing. Like I thought, I don't think that they really established very solidly that Lydia's, boyfriend, husband, whatever he is,
Yeah.
was overtly the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like he was
Like, he just seemed like a weird stepdad.
Well, he was dumb, he was
Yeah.
annoying, and he was kind of a
But
cuck.
see-
But like I mean, he wasn't like maliciously against
evil.
her at all.
No.
Like he was
It's only
just
in the
kind of her
last, like-
producer and that.
Because they spent literally the first, I would say about good 20 minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes, trying to make us hate him so much. And the whole first part of the movie was just hate this dude, nothing else. And I was like, okay, I hated him already and didn't like him from the scene where they were in the bathroom and he tossed her pills. Like, we get it. But then they spent the next, like, an ungodly amount of time. And I was like, I'm kind of tapped out, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right. Here's the thing: is like they made you not like him based on like personality alone. I feel
Yeah.
literally if they had like a point where he was like alone, like they overheard him talking about, the sham marriage, and he thinks all the ghost stuff is, BS, and he's just exploiting her. Like if he'd like mentioned that so that we, the audience, knew, but not all the characters in play knew about that.
If we would have heard that earlier than when we hear that in the movie, and it would
Then
have
we're
been
like,
like an
oh, then
overheard thing.
he's the bad guy here. He's a bad guy.
No,
I
Mhm.
we
just
get that
thought
at
he
like
was
the
just
last minute.
annoying and dumb. But at the end, Beetlejuice just sticks him with truth juice, and he's just like, oh, everything's a sham. I think your ghost show is bullshit, and I'm just exploiting you for money, and I don't actually love you. And then he gets eaten right away 10 seconds later. So I'm like, well,
Exactly.
what?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, nobody liked him. So you're right about that, Taylor. But like, I don't think they did enough to like make him feel, oh, he's the bad guy here. Like I just don't like him
No, he was just
Yeah.
right. I just didn't like how often he was on
on
screen.
He
screen.
was
That's
he was
why I
so
didn't like
yeah.
him.
Yeah, like he was super like pushy for like the whole like husband and stepdad thing. Like it's like you're already trying too hard, dude. Like just stop. Like I felt there. It was almost like secondhand embarrassment every single time he was on
Mhm.
screen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Let's move on to the other thing that I don't like about this movie. The fact that Jenna Ortega is in it. She's only in it because she's Wednesday. This is literally the only reason they cast her in this movie.
Yeah. I'm
That's true.
you
Her
know,
entire side plot
people
line was irrelevant.
people are who they are off camera, I don't know a whole lot of her as a person, but I just don't like seeing her on screen so often because she's being used a lot right now, and she's
Yeah.
being kind of typecasted as the
Yes.
gloomy
And
Cool
emo
I
goth
chick,
chick.
and it's
Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
it's the same character every single time.
It's just sad because I knew her from way back when she was on Stuck in the Middle on Disney
Stuck
Channel.
in the
And
middle, yeah.
she was so, yeah, and she was
Never
good
heard
at
of that.
comedy, and I want
She
her
was she
back
was.
in something that shows her range because right
She
now,
had the
like, I'm
Disney
sure
she
she'd be
got the
great at
Disney
that.
disease. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
I would like to
Yeah,
see
that's
some
true.
range. Like if they cast her as like a different, like
They
unique
cast
role.
so the problem is they cast her in something for Netflix that I cannot for the life of me remember what the name of it was. But they sexualized her in that show, and from then she kind of started getting typecast as this character. Like from that
Yeah,
point on.
which is a shame.
Mm.
It's a
Like there's a
shame.
single scene. The only reason I don't know what it's called is because I don't want to watch it. And there's a single scene where she's talking to this dude. She's talking to this guy, and she's like, "Do you want to fuck me? Is that it? Do you want to? Everyone wants to fuck the 15-year-old." And I'm like, "Who are you?
Isaac,
Whoa.
that's not a
What is this
sound
character?"
bite I needed from you.
I know. I don't want that soundbite. No, don't clip chat. Don't clip that. Don't clip
That-
that chat.
I don't have a chat.
But
Not
no,
live.
but true. But yeah, but her entire side plot line as well was just pointless. Like she's all,
Yeah,
ugh, I don't like this, and then it's like, oh, boyfriend thing, and I fucking called it from the jump
it
that
was
he was a ghost.
super obvious. It was super obvious as soon as
Yeah.
his parents didn't show their
Okay,
faces, and I'm like, oh, they're dead.
here's the thing. Okay, I have some
Oh, here
things
we
to say
go.
about this
Here we
guy
go.
because,
Here we go.
okay, I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
speak to
Uh-huh.
all the women listeners out
Uh-huh.
there and say that he won me over and I would have done the same thing as her. He was hot,
He
but
thinks he's
I
cute.
think, but I do. But here's the thing, an actual qualm I have with this is they gave so little motive, so little background. It was like, did you know he killed his parents? Oh, I didn't know that. Done. What? Why?
And then he just
When?
goes to
Well,
the
because the
underworld
How?
whole
and gets,
point.
like, killed instantly, so
Well,
what
that's
is
the thing.
Exactly,
Yeah,
dude,
that's the other
it
thing. Is
makes
that's
me
another.
so detached. Like, I'm
Yeah,
so detached and I don't care. They didn't have me
yeah.
invested in it at all.
Well, because I'm sitting
You
here and I'm
said
like, oh, this seems like an actually difficult, this seems like an actually difficult plot thing to resolve. Like, I mean, she's about to lose her soul. Like, she's about to give up her soul, and then all of a sudden, it's just like Beetlejuice shows up, and he's just like later, and then just sends him to hell.
he calls him a
Yeah, what?
fucker, and then he just condemns him to fire for the rest of eternity. So 2 things I wanted to bring up in that. Taylor, you said, fuck, what does it say? Like, you weren't invested or grounded or whatever word you used?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's exactly how I felt for the whole movie.
You
It's
Mhm.
couldn't be
like
invested in
you
anything
didn't exactly, they didn't let you invest yourself in any point because by the
because by the
time it
time
was
you,
introduced, it was gone,
yeah, exactly.
and
Yep.
any part of the 5 storylines that they're trying to do here, if any of them are interesting, by the time that scene is over, it's gonna be like another 30 minutes before they come back to that plot line
Yeah,
again
exactly.
because they're chasing around all the other ones.
Yeah,
And
it
then
wasn't great.
Isaac, I told you this before. Um, if Ryan George does a pitch meeting on Beetlejuice, it's probably gonna set a record for the most amount of times he said super easy, barely an inconvenience, because it
Yeah, because
happens
it's
every 20 minutes in this movie. Every single
yeah,
plot point is just over without
Mhm.
any issue whatsoever,
yeah. Yeah, it just wasn't. You couldn't sit on anything for too long.
right?
I the only other really gripe I have with this movie, well, I mean, I have a couple others, but the big one is kind of wrapped up in this one is just Beetlejuice himself. They
Yeah.
beat the nostalgia horse so fucking hard for this movie, and they missed the mark on everything. Cause like they
Yep.
made him do the thing where he makes everyone sing and dance like 3 fucking times in this movie.
The
It
funny
was
thing is
meant
that
as one.
I recognize the song because it's because I know the Weird Al Jurassic Park parody of it,
Yeah,
but I've never
that's what
heard
I
the
do.
original
Yeah,
song. I'm just
neither had
like,
I.
"Oh,
It's Jurassic
yeah."
Park. Cool.
Oh my god, did they fucking love that song. It was they used it
Mm,
like
Yeah,
every
that scene
like
went on
10 minutes.
forever too.
The
they did
scene
the
went on
full
forever. They
song.
used it like
They
4 times. They
they
used it
used the
4
full
times.
song, the
You
full whole
literally
song.
you have access to the best Bee Gees song ever written, and you only used it once. How dare you?
Exactly. Well, but that's what I mean. Like it's like the other thing is it kind of ruins a fun thing about the first movie. Like
Yeah.
I think you said this at one point or something. Like it, the fun thing when he does it in the first movie is you're like, ah, he's just messing with them. But now they've made it canon to be one of his abilities. Like
Yeah,
this is
that's
a
just like
thing he can do.
Mhm.
that's his. Well, yeah, like, I assumed like everything he did was a thing he can do because everything that he did was completely random. He
Yeah.
appeared as a snake. He shrunk them down into the little miniature. He
Hmm.
changed his clothes to match Alec Baldwin's. He
Yeah.
fucking turned into a circus head with long noodle arms. Summoned
Yeah.
a little alien priest. Like he was just do whatever he wants. Like it was
Yeah.
completely random. The banana song, but this movie he does it like for a very long extended scene in the thing, and they kind of said it like, oh, that's like one of his go-to powers, like that's his thing, like that.
Yeah.
it's
That's
not
stupid.
it's not his thing.
I
Yeah.
will
You have
say
anything to say to that?
one
Okay.
Well, I was just gonna say one good thing that I will say about the movie is I
Yeah.
did really enjoy, well, two things. One, it's a great movie to see with other people. If I had saw that by myself, because of course I'm not with you guys out here, so I go with this one other girl, but if I had gone alone, I would have absolutely said, what a waste of my time. But
Oh,
Yeah.
since
true.
I gone since I went with somebody, who you could
You're able to
look
sit
over
and
at
joke
them.
at it.
Yes, and you look over them and say, "What the fuck is happening right now?" That was
Yeah.
enjoyable. Experience of being with another person, watching this movie and bonding. You know how you like bond
Yeah.
over like trauma? It's kind of like that. But
You
also,
Oh, we
bond over
know. We
trauma.
know. Hey,
but I
Merrick and
also
I
really
saw
did.
Babes. We know.
Oh yeah, yeah. But another thing I did actually enjoy were the costumes and the set. I thought was actually really
That
good.
was the only good thing that I was going to give this movie is I
Yeah.
love that they stuck to the practical effects. They could have
Yeah, the
Mhm.
CGI'd the
practical
fuck out of this
effects.
movie.
Yeah,
Yep.
all that stuff was phenomenally done. I loved the costumes that they did. I liked the
Yes. Oh,
one dead guy in the hazmat suit and like the melting skeleton inside.
Yeah.
I thought that was
yes.
really
That was
cool.
so good.
I like
Um,
that people I like the idea in those that like people die and like the way that they died is still present there.
Yeah, it's how they
Like the dude
are in the
but
yeah.
I
that's what
also
happened
love
when he dies, and that's what happened when she dies. Exactly.
yeah, exactly. It's cool, but I like but the other funny thing is that they the guy that died, the main reason why the
Oh
movie is
no.
happening.
Oh no.
Yeah, I love that they couldn't they physically can't put him in the they actually can't put him in the movie.
Yeah,
So and not because he's dead. I think he's not dead.
he's
No.
not
Yeah, no,
But
dead.
he's not dead.
but they couldn't put him in the movie, so they just made it so his character dies by being eaten by a shark. So he doesn't have a head anymore. He's just a torso walking around. Which, by the way, that looked phenomenal. Like that's actually one of the best like practical effects in the movie.
Yeah.
Like I really like that.
Um, for those of you unaware, the guy who played Lydia's dad in the original movie, was unable to return for this movie, due to the fact that, if I'm getting this correct, he paid a 14-year-old boy to take naked pictures of himself, which is massive creep behavior, and
Yeah.
a felony. So
Yes.
he was not allowed to come back.
He
He was
So
not
I
asked to
think
come back.
personally, I think it's a little bit in poor taste to have a crowd of children singing at his funeral. I'm just saying,
Yeah. It was
maybe
Yeah.
that was
not in
not the
good
best.
taste.
That was not the best role.
Speaking of people that weren't coming back for this movie, the two ghosts in the original movie didn't come back for this.
Where are Adam and Barbara? Tell me
So
where the fuck they are because I love them so much.
they literally just explained it away and a throwaway line, literally blink and you'll
Yeah.
miss it line. They just
Yeah.
go, they found a loophole for them to be able to pass on, and that was it.
Well, and another thing that pissed me off is because I understand like Alec Baldwin had that whole like uh
The
shooting on
gun thing.
set type of
Yeah.
issue,
Yeah.
and I don't know what happened to the woman who played Barbara, but whatever. Point is,
The one who
I
played
do.
Barbara
they
was in Blink twice,
She
actually.
was in Blink
oh
twice.
wait, yeah,
She
you're
was the
right. So
secretary
she's
with all the
acting.
bags. She's
Oh
still
wait, so she's
going.
acting. So first of all,
Yeah.
why not bring her back at least? But the
So
thing is, if they were like, oh, they didn't want to show like age or whatever, why
yeah,
they
that
did
is
so
that's
Well,
what they
Ghost
many
don't
did.
age.
Yeah,
right. Given
they
that,
said Ghost
okay,
Stone Age, so they
fair.
didn't want to do that. But I
Yeah.
agree. I think they should
However,
have explained it more, given more
Yeah.
they should have
time.
explained it more. And also, do you know how many times we saw a picture of Lydia when, or Winona Ryder when she was little playing Lydia? Why don't we
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
back pictures of them? Why don't we show when they,
Because they're
Barbara's
ghosts.
eyes were in her mouth,
No, why
and
didn't they have?
why don't we show those?
Because in the movie they had several like flashback moments to footage from the first
Oh
movie, and
yeah.
they didn't show any of
Yes,
them. But the two of them, they were literally the whole movie the
gone.
last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now they're gone. That pissed me off.
This
That was
was
one of my biggest
yeah.
faults.
Yeah.
So
They
No.
have the
I think it's
technology to
also
do a flashback.
yeah, I think
Mhm.
it's also like a tonal shift because in the first movie it was these two normal people who have now become ghosts and now they're experiencing all this crazy stuff and this super crazy, demon guy comes in. But
Yeah.
now it's just a bunch of weird crazy people all being weird and crazy the whole time. Like there's no
Yeah. There's no relief from that. It's just weird for
yeah.
weird's sake the whole movie.
Hmm.
now that we've come to the topic of Lydia's parents and weird for weird's sake, can I say I hate the stepmom in this movie? She's so bad.
Yeah, she's so
She's
terrible.
so terrible. I watched one review of this movie and the guy said that she was the best part and I'm like, "What are you on?"
He just has a thing
Like
for redheads.
okay, irrelevant. You didn't like her either, Isaac, so your comments are
It's because
irrelevant.
it's just because hey, just because I have a crippling weakness for
You're
redheads does not mean that
Wait, that was you?
every redhead
You
is
were saying
Stop
that
fine.
about you?
incriminating yourself on camera, Isaac. Stop it. Get some help. She was terrible. I thought every single line she delivered was poorly done.
It
Her
was.
whole character was like last time she was just she thought her art was good, but it was really bad. Like all the statues are terrible. Like that was the
Yeah.
joke. She's like, "Oh, it's
Mhm.
art." It's like it's terrible. But
Yeah.
now she's like it's completely gone to her head and she's insufferable about it. She's like taking pictures of herself like screaming about her husband just died.
Yeah.
And it's like what are you doing? And then she fucking buys snakes off of like Craigslist and then
She buys them
dies
off Wish at that
and
point.
then yeah and then to do nothing, I guess, and then get herself killed because she's crazy.
She said something about like a ritual or something to
Yeah, she
do with
wanted
the
to do
snakes or
like a
something.
fucking Egyptian death ceremony or
Something like that.
something that required asps.
And
And then
she literally died. She died, went to the afterlife, and was talking to the lady like, "No, there's been a mistake. There's been a mistake. They were fangless snakes. I bought them off they were fangless. I
Clearly
shouldn't be
not.
dead."
she was insufferable. Like if I could pick
Horrible.
one character to remove from the movie, it would be her. I
There was only one character in this movie that I actually loved, and it was Willem Dafoe's character. I actually loved his character. I thought it was really funny that he was a cop he was an actor who played a cop in real life, and now he's just a cop in the afterlife. So he's still doing all the cheesy cop shit. I liked that. I thought that was funny. I liked
as
it.
fun as his character was,
I
I
forgot
find
about
it
him.
really exactly. I found it really disappointing that you can not even like, oh, if he wasn't in the movie it would be exactly the same. If you go into like Video and edit out every single scene of his, the movie would be exactly the same.
Yeah.
Every single scene he's in is completely irrelevant. His character has no impact. If you cut all his scenes out, the movie would be exactly the same.
Yeah, it kind of would. Like even the scene where they're all showing up, where they all raid the freaking like
Yeah.
mausoleum or
Yeah,
whatever.
he just does nothing the whole time.
Yeah, he's kind of
I
not needed.
But we gotta give props to Michael Keaton, at least. I mean, he did bring a
He
lot of the
loved the
Beetlejuice
character.
energy. He loves the character, and you can feel it.
Like he put all of his effort into it. Like
yeah.
I
feel
loved all the moments where he was sitting there, like the part. I have the face in my head because I find it really funny. Where they're like, "We need to figure out a way to get into the afterlife." He's like, "Well, we can't just go in the front door." So he just lights a bomb that he drew on the wall, and like when he lights it, he comes back and he's like, he's just like, I like the faces he does when he's
Yeah.
just sitting there waiting for the stuff to happen. Like it was pretty good.
You can tell that he wasn't allowed to ad lib a whole lot in this movie, and
Yeah.
it definitely suffers for that.
See, here's my problem. Here's my big issue with this movie. This movie should have been rated R, but at the same time, if it was
No.
rated R, I
No.
know they would have gone way too far with it.
It should not have been rated R. The first one was not rated R.
Well, by today's
I think it
probably
should.
would
I
have
think
been.
it should have. I think no, it would not have been. I think it should have been handled a lot better. I think they should have cut back on a lot of the plot points and really ground itself. And then finally, I would get rid of Beetlejuice Baby. Every single
Yeah.
Oh my
scene.
god, yes, please. That
Oh,
I was
about that.
befuddled.
So the director of the movie came out and said something about that scene. And I can't remember the entirety of it, but basically the whole point of that dream sequence scene at the end of the movie.
That's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the
No, wait,
therapy
I want to hear.
session.
Yeah, but like I get what you're talking about there, but like I'm talking about the second time it shows up.
Yeah, I
where
know
it's
what you're
like that.
talking about.
Yeah, but no, that was so a stupid callback. But anyway, the director said he threw it in there solely to be a curveball. Like literally solely to be just a last minute hey, and that's it.
That's not what he said. He said he did that scene solely to troll people. He said it was a fucking
Yeah.
prank, a joke. Which don't end your movie like that. Why? If I'm making a movie and I want it to be good, I'm not gonna prank people at the end. Like, ha, my movie's bad. Got him.
Yeah, like what the
Ha, shitty ending. Lol. Got him. Pranked. Who's laughing now? Exactly.
Yeah.
It's none of us. Not me. I paid for it. All right. Any other comments on this?
Here's what it was. Here's what it was. I found it real quick. Is that he said he didn't want the
wrap this
movie to
up.
feel like it got wrapped up in a bow.
It did.
Like and like so he did that solely to be like a nothing in this movie nothing in this world ends like perfectly in this world that they created. Like it's always gonna be a little weird kind of thing, and it's like
Then
you're
why
just
did he
doing
wrap
weird.
up all the
That
little
doesn't make
plot
any
points?
sense.
Yeah, I
That
know it
makes
doesn't.
Less. So what? What?
Yeah,
Doesn't make any sense. Oh, it doesn't want to wrap. It don't want to have it all wrapped up in a bow. Then why did you just end everything immediately?
yeah,
Why is everything solved within 5 seconds? Why and then wrapped up
Yes,
in a little bow?
exactly. Mm-hmm.
You just wanted to see Jenna Ortega and Winona Ryder pregnant, you freak. Anyways, enough of this tripe. Let's move on to the rankings, please. If
yeah,
we're all good here.
yeah. I got nothing else. Taylor, you got anything else to say?
Nope. I said all my stuff.
All right.
Right.
Okay.
Taylor, as the guest, we'd invite you to give your ranking first.
Okay, well, let's see. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. And 2 stars come from the experience, and the other 2 stars come from the wonderful plot twist man I loved so much. Justice for him.
Wait till Merrick finds out about this.
Yeah,
Don't know. Just kidding.
it's gonna be in
Anyways.
the podcast.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Not
Anyways, I also gonna give this a 4. As you know, way we rank, 5 is like mid, literally nothing. Kind of neither here or there, and Beetlejuice felt like a big step down from that. I mean, production-wise, it had a lot going for it. Some of the acting was good, some was not. And like I think it's just a huge misstep off the path of what Beetlejuice should have been, and I really hope that they don't make another one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also giving this movie a 4. I it you know what this movie felt like? You know
Nope.
what it was? This movie had a very similar air to the new Ghostbusters. Like they
Bad,
just brought well, yeah, they just brought back an IP.
aimless.
They just brought back an IP that was that, and then the worst part was that Ghostbusters already had an established thing. Like they
Mhm.
already established this new universe or whatever, this new storyline. But like this, who was asking for this?
No
No
one.
one. Like the
Nobody.
first movie is a
Uh,
classic for a
the
reason.
the
You're
actors
cheap.
in the movie who wanted to get paid again.
Like I get it if it's a passion project for the thing. Like Keanu Reeves wanting to play Constantine again. I'll go
Yeah.
see that just because I know he wants to play the character. I think that's cool. But I don't know if I heard anything about Michael Keaton wanting to be Beetlejuice again. Like you can tell he clearly loves the character. He puts his all into it. But like
Yeah.
it's just like no one wanted this. And it's like
It's true.
you're cheapening the first movie by making this. And
Yeah.
that kind of sucks. The first movie is a classic. I watch it literally every year. At some point during October, I watch the original Beetlejuice. And I hate
Good
now
movie.
that I have to
Good movie.
clarify and say the original Beetlejuice. I can't just say Beetlejuice anymore.
Yep.
Stupid.
All right. Now, with that being said, let's bring Merrick in and we'll move on to our next movie, The Substance. Merrick, welcome.
Hi.
Hello, hi. How's it
Hello
going,
and
Oh,
hi,
buddy?
hi.
Merrick. Oh, hi.
I'm here.
And
Whoa.
low.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Isaac, The
We're glad you can make
Substance,
it.
please.
Absolutely. So Elizabeth Sparkle, renowned for an aerobics
Not a
show,
real last name.
faces no faces
Keep
a
going, I'm sorry.
devastating. I'm gonna take that from the top again because that's really I can't. That's freaking awful. Oh my god. Uh, Elizabeth Sparkle, renowned for an aerobics show, faces a devastating blow on her 50th birthday as her boss fires her. Amid her distress, a laboratory offers her a substance which promises to transform her into an enhanced version of herself.
Mm. Enhanced, like, with lasers and armor plating and, like,
It's Compound V.
so lasers.
Yeah, so lasers.
Yes, I knew it.
Yeah,
Taylor,
she gets
you
laser
saw
eyes.
this before we did, and you were super duper oopers excited for us to see it.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I only have one qualm with this movie, but I'm gonna say the good things first. I
Okay.
loved this movie. Period. I did. I went to the theater. I was one of 7 people. Every other theater goer that day in that showing, besides me, was probably 60 or older. I was the only
Ugh.
person under like 60 in that whole
I
showing.
feel, I feel bad for them.
Well, I
Yeah.
looked around because the if I had to break the movie up, the first half, the like warning would be like nudity. I looked around, their eyes were glued on the screen, and I was like, oh, okay, am I the only one looking around?
It's a bunch of old
Second
corn
half,
dogs.
well, the second half was mostly gore. And these
Yeah.
people were not shaken. I fear that is going to be
Really?
me when I am 60. They were not shaken.
Wow.
But okay, let me just say a few things first. I loved the gore. I thought it was great. I
The wolf.
thought that
Mm.
it was well done. Um, I also just I don't think I told you guys this when I first like saw it and was like, "Oh guys, you have to see this movie." Was the title cards, like the way they kept showing the word the substance was so
Hmm.
good. They
Oh
showed it on
yes.
the package, they showed it on the syringe, like they showed it that whole like package thing was so good. And the way it was done was so beautiful and I loved it.
Hmm.
And I'm just gonna say this too is I think they put the message of like feminine insecurity, getting older, not liking who you are, you're not satisfied with your body. Like as a woman, I get it. Like I've been there. And I think they did it in a way where it really did hit home. because at the
Yeah.
end, I don't know if we're still doing spoiler alert, but spoiler alert. Um, at the end, I was heartbroken because she was, I mean, Demi Moore is gorgeous to begin with, and then
Yes.
she became that thing, and it was so sad because that thing couldn't even, I mean, it could barely even speak, and it
Yeah,
hurt, and I walked out of that theater and I said, I will never be insecure again, and I checked
it
myself
was.
to this
Yeah.
day.
It's crazy. It's crazy to me that they got Demi Moore to be in this. That's wild to me. Like
She did a good job.
she was the Hollywood hot woman back in like the 90s and 80s. Like she actually was.
Ghost? Oh, yeah.
Well,
She was the main character in Striptease. Like that
I
it
don't
was
know
a
what that
movie
is.
that came out in the 90s.
Clearly.
I just
That had
know
her
from
in it.
Ghost, but okay.
But like
But
I
anyways,
recognize her face,
I
but
love
I
her.
actually don't know her from anything. Like you would have to
You have
remind
seen
me of
Ghost?
something. Ghost?
uh sh-
Yeah,
uh
Pottery
sh-
Wheel.
I'm familiar with
Oh,
the
oh,
pottery
yeah,
scene, but I've never seen the
yeah,
really
yeah, she's the woman
oh,
in
you should get
Ghost.
this one too.
I mean, she was in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent for like a moment.
a moment.
Yeah,
She was in
Was that
something
the
else.
actor wife for
she
Nicolas
was an
Cage in
actress.
his movie?
I think so, maybe. Or was
Okay,
that
fair
or was
enough.
some other one? But
I don't know.
anyway,
Regardless,
Oh, and she was
yeah,
also
no,
in St. Elmo's Fire, if you saw
yeah.
that, with the
So
Brat Pack.
nope.
let's. So the
I have
so hold on
never
before we get.
seen. I have never
Okay,
seen
never
a
mind.
Demi Moore movie.
So before we get too much further,
We
the
learned
the
something.
synopsis did not give a well enough explanation. So what the
Yeah,
substance is it's a thing that when you take it, it basically makes a younger clone of you. It doesn't make
It
you.
duplicates
It
your
doesn't like
cells.
it duplicates yourself, but makes a younger version. It's not you as a younger person. It's not like 1-to-1 where it's like you when you were younger. It's just
right.
a younger, it's like a better younger version of you. And what it is that like your consciousness or something like that is like traded to that person. And then that person is they get control. They get to be who they are for 7 days, and then you have to switch back to your old person body for 7 days.
It's 7 days on and 7 days off. So
Yes.
it
And
comes.
like
So the package that she gets with the substance in it, there's the activator fluid that starts the process, and then
yeah,
she gets bags of food because
food.
the new body comes out of the back of the old body.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
really
and
hard
then
to put into
you're,
words, actually. So
Yeah,
well,
well,
it's
there's always
basically,
one body on the floor unconscious, and that one you have
yeah.
to hook up to like an IV drip system and
yeah,
pull all
You
this
also have to
fluid
like
out.
take like yeah, you have to take like the stabilizer fluid cuz the clone has
Right,
to stabilize themselves every single day.
right.
And the other thing that they do is when they give them that, the thing is like you have to remember you are one. You are one person. You are not two
Yeah.
separate people. This is not a split
I
personality.
I want to come back to that because I
Yeah,
have
we'll
some
come
things
back
to
to
say.
that.
But I
yeah.
first and foremost, I think that the process that they set up here, like the food bags, the switching tubes, the injector, the stabilizer,
Very
I
well
th-
done.
I think that was incredibly well thought out.
So
Yes.
good.
Mhm.
So
It was
detailed.
laid out so like explicitly, like
Well, that's even
it's
crazier
so easy to
cuz
follow.
I'm sitting here and I'm going this is both extremely explicitly and very easy to follow, but at the same time, it's also very like bare bones as well. Like the
Well,
Yeah,
only
like
I
it's
like,
actual instruct
yeah,
surprisingly
yeah,
easy for a thing.
like well what I'm saying
For a
is
yeah,
like
clone.
Yeah,
For a
well,
clone, yeah.
what I'm saying is like they got the only instructions, literally the only instructions she gets is you activate once, you stabilize every day, and you switch every 7 days, no exceptions. And then
Right.
and then I guess the other like fourth rule is remember you are one, and that's it. Those are literally all you get. Everything else, like they numbered all the food bags. That way, it shows you how many days you have left until you
Right.
have to switch. And then on top of that, like the syringe that you get to fill all the things for the stabilizer fluid are all numbered as well. So it's just very easy to follow.
Right.
Like
And
And I think that was so good on how to explain it to the audience because we are
yeah,
reading the directions with her and we're
right.
yeah,
learning with her. And I think that's such a great way to get us oriented. So it's not like, oh, she went to the doctor and this guy told her to take this fluid. So she injects herself and boom. Like, no, they laid it out for us too.
Right.
yeah.
And I even found myself with like questions about the process and then it just gets answered for me. Like first one that pops into my head, I'm sure same thing with multiple people. It's like switch every 7 days. It's like, well, is that like 7 24-hour periods? Is that day to night? Like what do you mean by day? But then that gets answered cuz like the food bag lasts for 7 days. So when the food
Yeah.
bag runs out, that's when, or you'll start feeling the drain that you
Well,
need.
well, that's because she has to stabilize every day. So
Right.
it's
So the
like you need
seventh,
to.
when the seventh stabilizer runs out and you start getting that feeling,
Yeah,
that's when. That's when.
yeah.
Like
It
there's
was really.
like they set it up where there's no gray area about when to do this, how to do this.
Yeah,
It's super simple and comprehensible.
yeah. It was very well put together. I the other thing about the whole process that really surprised me was so when all I knew about this movie, I had seen zero trailers. All I had seen about this movie was the synopsis on the Marcus website. And what I thought it was going to be was it's a thing that turns you younger, and then every 7 days it has to make you have to not be. You know, you're able to be young for a week, and then you got to be old again, and that's it.
Mhm.
But like, I didn't think it surprised me when it just split a whole nother human being out of her. Like that
Yeah,
was
that was crazy.
shocking, and
You pointed out the eyes. You
the
pointed out
eyes
the
was
Oh,
eyes.
that
That
so
was
was very
cool.
awesome. When her
Uh,
iris is duplicated. Oh my god.
Oh yeah,
So
that
good.
was
Mhm.
so cool because then you saw the two eyes. Like you saw the first one, like the pupil switched and then it like rolled back into her, and then it like came
Mhm.
back out, and it was very distinctly another eye in her eye socket for a split
right.
second.
Yeah, it was
And
blue
like,
and not
yeah,
brown. Yeah.
it
And
was
then
really cool.
there's that at the end.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
You're,
We'll get to that. We'll
yeah.
get to that eventually because I feel like we need
Isaac
to take this movie bit by bit.
Isaac shutting down Merrick's only comment.
Well, I'm
Right.
sorry, but I feel like this movie does need to be we do need to talk about this
Right.
movie in like a sequential order. So like
Yeah.
Also,
cuz
I do
um,
want to say the opening scene was really good too. That was so impactful.
are you
mhm.
talking the egg thing?
No, I'm talking about the
Egg
star.
thing.
Oh, yes.
Star.
The
It
star like
showed
breaking.
her fading fame, time
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
passing.
Cuz it
yeah.
started with her thing.
Shout
Yeah,
out.
cuz we don't even see her for like the first like 5 to 10 minutes of the movie cuz it's just
Right.
Guy
focusing on her
drops
star.
Her
his
star in the
cheeseburger
Hollywood
or
Walk of
whatever.
Fame. Yeah,
Yeah,
and the
dude
guy
drops
drops a
his
cheeseburger.
and
He's
then
just
he
like,
just
"Oh, the
smears
walk."
Merrick,
Smears it
Devastating.
more.
Devastating.
Smears it more.
Merrick leaned over to me in that moment, and he was like, "The dude just got ketchup all over his shoe for like no reason."
For like no
Yeah,
reason. Yeah.
because he like tries to scrape it off or whatever with his shoe. He kicks the ketchup around or whatever. It's like you just got ketchup on your shoe now.
Yeah, like,
The mess is worse,
But
and your
still,
shoes suck.
yeah.
but
There's
no,
still
it
ketchup
was
all
pretty
over the
good.
star. You didn't help.
Yeah.
So another thing, that this movie, so before we get more into plot and story and stuff, I want to talk more about the cinematography of this movie because
Mm.
it is fucking gorgeous. The amount of macro shots this
Mhm.
movie has is so good. Like those scenes where they zoom in on something, but it's a really close up like thing. Like
Yeah,
some of
the
them were a
fly in
bit
the wine
egregious.
glass. That was the first one I remember, the most
Yeah.
Yeah.
iconic one. Like
Like some of them
I
were a bit
really
much
like
like
that
the one
shot
that you
actually.
brought up. Yeah, that was really good. Like the one you brought up afterwards was the one where it's like the shot where they're establishing how like gross the manager Dennis Quaid's
Oh my
character is.
god.
And they're just
So
like
Ew,
showing
his
him
teeth.
sucking on shrimp.
that's that's one of my
Yes,
complaints. One of my few
that was the
complaints about
scariest
this
part of the
movie.
whole movie.
I I was not a fan of Dennis Quaid's character because I feel like he's too much of a caricature than a character, and he's a caricature of exactly no one ever. Like I
Yeah.
think they really want you to feel, oh, this guy is scummy and gross and creepy and an asshole, but they like punch you down the throat with it. Like the first thing you see is him with his face directly in the camera while he's taking a piss, and he's like spitting all over when he talks. And then when you see him again, he's just like like
Because
eating
and
shrimp
also in that scene
in the
he's sitting there and
grossest
he's
way
like, I
possible.
need her young, I need her hot, and I need her
I need
no
her
sorry.
booty thick. Like he's just like
Yeah.
they're going way too crazy with it. I think they wrote him a little too wild. They could have played it back.
It really sucks because
I liked his like his steel heels on his shoes.
oh
So he
yes.
so like, you know, like subtextually consciously he's like, so he feels like strong and powerful when he walks around. Like I like subtext like that.
Yeah.
Like where you have to think at all. They don't just like throw it in your face. Hey, this is what his character
Yeah.
is. Ugh. He's gross and ugly and mean and he hates women. Like I get that. Yes, thank you for explaining that so much to me. But, you know, thankfully he's not a huge part of the movie. I I really like this concept. In a way, like
Yeah.
it jumped out to me almost immediately once she started doing the process. This feels like it's from an anthology series, like Creepshow or Twilight Zone. Like it feels like
Mm.
if it was chopped up shorter, it could have been like an episode of that and probably one of the better episodes. You know, because it's got like a horror aspect, someone with a flaw. Like clearly the main character is vain, she wants attention, she wants to be in the spotlight, that's her driving force. And then so she starts making personal, you know, sacrifices and stuff to feed into that, and it ends up backfiring on her, and she ends up worse for wear with a moral at the end. That's usually how those kind of shows
Yeah.
go. So it really
Yeah.
had that feel to it, but with a way better story and way bigger budget.
Yeah.
But I
It's
like that it has that feeling. I feel like the people responsible for this movie could do a whole horror anthology series like that, and it would be great.
dude, I loved
Yeah.
the fact that a majority of the body horror aspect of this movie was all done with prosthetics.
Mhm.
Like obviously the
Yeah.
iris thing and all that, like that's all CGI. But like almost all of it it kept being like prosthetics, you know, practical effects, and
Yeah.
that really
They
really rang through.
When it comes to body horror, it's a very niche kind of horror.
It
Like
is.
some movies do it very well, like The Thing did it very well, The Fly did it very well. But then
Oh
there's
yes.
but recently it's literally just I watched a movie it was a Cronenberg movie, Crimes of the Future. It was
Okay.
literally the whole point of the movie was just let's see what crazy body horror stuff we can do and then worry about the story afterwards. Like the story was kind of not there. They just wanted to go ham
Yeah.
on the
So
body horror, but this had a good story and purpose to every single thing that they did, and that
Yeah.
happened.
So let's go in because we keep bringing up body horror and stuff. So what happens
Yeah.
is she goes through the process, and then this beautiful young lady pops out, and like they do the whole 7-day thing. Like she hooks her up to the feed bag and all that, and then 7 days later, like they do switch, and like when she switches, she just like stays in her home the whole time and is like super depressed and like just eating food
So
constantly.
me.
Yeah, and like so like they're doing the switch back and forth thing. And then they switch back. And at the end of the 7 days, her other half, who is
Young
named
one,
Sue, which
Sue.
by the way, that opening scene where like she's saying her name and everything like that was a really well done shot. Like it was really like that whole first scene when she goes out in public and she like says
Mhm.
her like announces her name and all those and like them breaking it up into like Elizabeth and Sue. Like they throw that
Yeah,
on
and then
screen and
the
everything. Like the
yes.
title cards for the characters was really cool. But like her saying that like it was really you could tell not just from the characters like way she carried herself and the way she did the scenes, you could tell from the way the scenes were shot that like she feels confident, she feels young and sexy again. Like that was very well
You
conveyed
got
from
a
the
boner, is
character.
what you're saying.
No.
Successfully.
But anyway,
He
but
was talking
anyway,
about the
oh yeah,
shots that go close up.
Oh yeah, he
there
was
was
talking
a
about the booty shots and the
it was actually really funny because
Oh
she goes and
boy.
she auditions to be the new Elizabeth Sparkles, to be the
yeah.
new star of the next aerobics show. And like they shoot the next aerobics show, and I'm watching it, and I leaned over to Mo, and I went, "This is porn, right? Like that's
Yes,
what they're
yes.
shooting,
That's
right?"
the whole point. Yes. It's the
But
whole
but
point.
But I think
but anyway,
that show like that came with a good not a like a good message, but like I got it. And maybe it's just 'cause like I'm a girl, but like that is what people
yeah,
um on all these shows we were talking earlier about how they sexualize Jenna Ortega and
yeah,
now she's screwed.
Yeah,
true.
pretty much.
So yeah. So anyway, she gets this job and all that stuff, and like, uh, you know, fame kind of goes whatever to her head. She's out partying and stuff like that. And one night she brings home a guy,
Who's
and
not cute,
like,
by the way.
and he starts like, and he's,
Taylor,
and
the
like the
ultimate
same.
judge here.
It's the
I
last day
am.
where she has to switch, and she goes like, and she like gets the headache you get when you don't stabilize properly, and she's like, "No, I just need a few more hours," kind of thing. And so she goes and she grabs a vial that she used already, and she pulls more fluid out of the original body to stabilize herself for a couple more hours for like the night, and then she switches back in the morning. And when she switches back, she's got this freaking gnarly salacious
The
crumb finger.
the
Like
crinkled ape finger dipped in mud,
yeah,
as they
Salacious
say.
B crumb.
Salacious B crumb, the
yeah,
crinkled ape finger.
yeah.
Now, if that
Like
were
she's
Crinkled
got
B
me,
this
finger,
freaking
yeah.
if that were
yeah,
me, I would have stopped doing that and then
yeah.
gotten surgery on the plastic surgery on the finger so it's normal again.
But like she calls up
I
the
would
she
not
calls up the
I would
place.
not have
Yeah.
continued doing this.
No. But she calls up the place and is like, "Hey, I think there were a couple extra hours
Yeah.
like used whatever and
It's
like
like, well, too
I
bad. There's no way to
she's like
undo it. What's done has been
yeah,
done.
she was
Can't be
like, "Is there a
undone.
way to yeah, she was like, "Is there a way to reverse it?" And she's like, and he's like, "What has been taken from one cannot be gained.
She,
Is lost from the other."
she calls these. She will go out of her way to purposely fuck up the entire situation and then call the place like it's their fault. She went full Karen on them. It's just like, there's
True.
been an issue. And I'm like, oh, has there? How did this
Yeah.
issue arise?
But like they're like,
My,
Really
if it
like
isn't the
that, though.
consequences of my own actions.
but I also really
I like
liked the
that,
thing.
though. I
Yeah.
like the
Yeah,
phone call
she
thing. I like that we
Yeah.
didn't see who's the mastermind behind it.
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that too. I like that they didn't give you answer to who's behind this, what the substance is whatever. It's like it's
Yeah.
literally a shadowy science thing that's underground for
But it's also
like the
directly
Hollywood elites who
straightforward.
want to be young again. Yeah, it's very straightforward.
Mhm.
Like it's
Um,
not even a dude who's like. What's even best about this isn't some guy selling this thing to be like, oh, it's
yeah,
gonna make you young
I don't
again.
think she
Yeah.
paid. I don't think she paid
There was
ever.
I didn't see anything about payment or anything, but that's not even that. It's like it's a dude that's like, hey, do this, do it. If you do the thing and you don't
and you
fuck
do
it up,
right, and you don't fuck it up.
it just
It,
works. But that's what he says. He just constantly says that. It's like just
like
respect the
balance,
balance.
do this, whatever. Yeah.
You switch 7 days, no exceptions.
So I want to come back to that now that we've brought up respecting the balance. So it is the same consciousness, right?
Yeah.
It is her mentally switching back and forth between the two bodies, but it's still one brain. But she acts completely different. Like when she switched to the younger body, all she cares about is being in the younger body, being that one, and then she's openly angry and annoyed at the mess that the older body left behind. Like she's making them two different distinct characters who are disagreeing with each other. Like
That
the
was
younger one wants to take more fluid out of her older one to make herself younger, and the older one wants her to stop taking the fluid and making her older and uglier. And I completely get it. Like under that kind of stress and like situation, like it's going to be difficult to like that can do serious damage to a person's psyche. Like I understand and I completely get it how that could happen. Like that's probably why they make it so clear. Like you are one. Don't forget that. We have to nail it home. You're the same person. You're the same
switch
head
every
in both
7
bodies.
days, no matter what.
Right. They're
like
both you. You are just in different bodies switching back and forth. Don't forget that. And I get it. Like it's very, very clear. And it's
there's
very
also
tastefully done.
Yeah, and then there's the scene there's the two other scenes before it really starts ramping up that I think are really important. And there's the one
keep it
where
brief,
she goes
Isaac.
Yeah. Well, cuz when she goes to pick up after the finger thing happens, when she goes to pick up the next dose, she sees the old guy. And the old guy is like the old version of the young guy that turned her onto this in the first place. And like he's sitting there and he's telling her, he's just like, the week, it's long, isn't it? Like, has she started yet? Has she started taking more and more from you? Like, and this is just at the very beginning where it's just her finger.
That's like the crinkled ape finger, yeah.
Yeah, and then like immediately after that, like he's telling her like it's hard to remember that you deserve to exist. Yeah. And like she takes that, and she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna call up this guy that I ran into. He's like, he likes me the way I am, kind of thing. Like he liked me already when I was old." And then like
justice for my guy Fred. Like poor guy.
Fred.
Yeah.
Like he genuinely liked her for her.
That.
And then
oh my god,
like,
my
let's
heart
go out.
broke.
She was
my
like,
heart broke because he was like, "You're as pretty and beautiful as you were back then, and I was as I remember you back in high school." Oh my god.
Right?
Yeah,
and
like
then she gets ready. She gets in her own head. Like she sees the younger one, and she's like, "Oh, I'm not as young. I'm not pretty. Like she's got boobs and I don't." And then she's trying to like compensate for that. And then she just gets so stressed out that she just like doesn't go at all and leaves man standing there.
But that
Which
is so real. That is so
That was an
real. This whole getting
extremely
in your
what a
head
powerful
about your
scene.
body
bitch.
image is so real.
What a
Yeah.
bitch. Poor
That was-
Fred, man. You left him standing
Yeah.
there. You had a way out of this. You had a chance at happiness
Yeah.
yet. My man Fred could have made you happy. And you done
And
left
that was
him
the
in the
other thing.
dust.
That was the other thing. You're talking about you have a way out of this. They literally say you can stop. Like every single time she calls them, like the substance dudes or whatever. Like she's like, they're like, would you like to end the experience? You can stop. What is done is done. You will stay as you are alone forever.
Yeah.
And
And
they're
she
like,
doesn't. And she doesn't do it.
She
She
doesn't.
continues to let the younger one go on.
Exactly. And
She
and
has her
after
life back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, she does.
In the old one, it's
after
sad.
that happens, the next time they switch, first of all, she made like this massive mess. And like, oh, there's the other horrible scene.
Isaac,
Should we talk about the chicken leg scene?
No, Isaac, we don't need to go over every single
Okay,
scene.
fine,
We're at an hour already.
Fine, whatever.
We're not
Anyway,
we're not recapping the movie. We're criticizing it here.
because there's so much good scenes in the movie, and they all look
I
really,
know there
really
is,
good.
but we can't
But anyway, so fine.
do the whole
The
movie.
next time they switch, she keeps taking more and more. Like I think she goes like a full like
3
like a
months it
week or
was.
something.
It was 3 months in
No,
total.
it was 3 months the last time.
Mhm.
The last time she does it. But like she does it once more where she kind of keeps taking more and more. And then when they switch, like her legs all fucked up, her arms all messed up, she's got like gray hair and all this stuff on her face. And she just kind of goes crazy and just starts like cooking French cuisine and like just eating her problems and like papering everything. And like just kind of goes insane. And then
I think when the crux of the movie, like the turning point here, is when she orders the termination kit, where she finally says, "I've had enough. We're done with this." And she gets the black cylinder syringe and starts injecting it into the body, the new one, Sue, right? But then she changes her mind halfway through, pulls the syringe out, and starts doing CPR on her, and then, boom, they're both awake at the same time.
yeah.
That's not supposed to happen.
She started the switch thing too.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Merrick. Yeah, she started doing the switch.
Good memory.
Yeah.
So clearly they're not supposed to both be awake. I'm unclear on how that happens. If she would have called and like complained about that bit, like,
Yeah.
well,
she didn't have time to. She didn't
no.
have time to.
I
'Cause
think
they
if the guy on the
fucking-
other end of the phone call, if he had seen what she done, he'd be, "What the fuck did you do? This has never happened before."
So there is only one other thing, and it's important for explaining the process because like like you said, she went 3 months. She just took a shitload of the stabilizing fluid out of her, and then she went 3
Pulled
months
that
without
all
her.
out.
Yeah, like all in one go, and just like kept going, and like by the end of it, like she's like, "There's no more stabilizer fluid. What's going on?" And they're like, "You need to switch because the switch reboots the stabilizing fluid." And so she does it, and she turned into like this fucking decrepit hunchback, and like she's got this giant protrude.
Yeah,
it
got
did.
no hair left.
It was fucking crazy, and the other again, the crazy thing is it was all practically done. Like that was like a suit they put her in, and that was like, wow, that looked really
Amazing.
well. And then so she
And
went
Demi
and got
Moore
the
had to be
termination
stuffed
thing.
inside that shit.
Yeah, so they had to go get then she got the termination kit, and then so
Yeah.
she's like this decrepit goblin, and so
Right.
now the young beautiful lady is face to face with this fucking ugly goblin thing, because she left her in the closet that she made with like a blanket covering her. Yeah, I know you have a problem with that
I
scene
have a
as well,
problem
Kelly.
with that. I have a problem with that. I felt it was a little misstep for her to make the secret cupboard in her psych ward of a bathroom. I didn't like her bathroom. It was pure white. It was like there was a prison in there. I would
Tiles
go
everywhere.
insane. Like it
It
was
was
pure
fully
white
full of
tile
tiles.
everywhere. Like
It looked
even
like a
up to the
murder room.
bathtub was a fucking tile. It's a psych ward in there. Like you need like a baby blue backsplash or something in here, bitch. Make it classy, okay? But then and like I just don't find it believable that someone who was like an aerobics instructor for her whole life and
Yeah.
you know this like Hollywood superstar got a walk of fame thing, she just somehow knows how to install a secret door
A
and
perfect secret door, by the
a
way.
perfect
Like
secret
you can't
door in
see
her
it.
apartment. Like the fucking Autismo dude across the hall that kept hitting on the young one the whole time. Like if she
That
had
was
like
super creepy.
if she had
Yeah.
used her like influence and like abused her power to like get him to do it for her, that would like fall more in line with the themes. Or she's
Yeah.
rich, she could have just hired some like contractors to come in and do that for her and lie about
Yeah.
it, you know. But like for I don't know, it just rubbed me the wrong way. Like why does she know how to do that? Like normal
Yeah,
people
no,
don't
it
know how
was
to
weird.
install like secret rooms in their house.
Yeah, it was that was a bit of a disconnect, but
Yeah.
anyway, going back to the thing, like she kills, so they fight. They
Yeah.
fight back and forth, the old one and the young one, and the young one ends up killing the old one.
Brutally, might I add. That was a
Brutally,
so much,
crazy
yeah,
just
like
like
kill.
a
brutally.
hole in
It
her.
was
It's
a
And they
insane.
that
they
was a
fought. They dragged that out.
that was the other
She
thing that
kicked
was
her
wild to
across
me.
the room.
Yeah,
Kicked her
was she
across
a
the room like
fucking
a
was she
super
fucking
soldier.
Captain America? Because she literally like Sparta kicks this woman across the room. Like what the fuck?
It's
Like,
true.
but again, all of the things like she like smashing her into the thing, and I'm sitting here like, oh, like that. And that's a compliment for movies like
Yeah.
this. That's a compliment. But then we move on from there because it's the big day. She's hosting the New Year's Eve show, so she needs to go and get ready for that and all that. And like as it's going, like she didn't get any more stabilizer fluid, so she's not
Right.
properly like she's not able to
She's
stabilize.
unstable.
Yeah, so like things are going wrong. Like she's getting the ringing in her head and the bleeding and all that, and she goes into the bathroom, and her fucking teeth
Oh
start falling out.
no, she
Eh!
One
ripped
fell
them
out,
out.
and
She
she
One
starts
fell
takes
out.
them
pulling
out,
out two more.
and I'm like,
Yeah,
stop!
and
Why
I'm
would
like,
you
And then
start
ah!
pulling them
Why would
out?
you keep pulling?
she's crazy. And then her ear falls off in the elevator, and a guy's trying to talk
Oh
to her, just
yeah.
brr, 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 and she's just like, uh-huh.
Not
So
only
she
that, you missed the
presses the
other problem.
button.
And her,
I forgot what. Oh yeah, her
yeah,
fingernail
She presses a
pulls
button, her
off.
fingernail pops out,
Yeah.
and ugh,
Yeah.
Yeah, she starts
like
taking them off. That was
ah,
awesome.
I hated that
Yeah, some
so
gruesome
much.
fucking shit there.
I
that was
But
love
that was
that,
way worse than the teeth thing. I've had the
yeah,
teeth
But
dream so
but
many
the reason
times.
she's in the elevator is
everybody
'cause
has the teeth
yeah,
dream, Merrick.
yeah.
I
But
have
she's
But the
that.
got an
reason she's in the
idea.
yeah,
She's got an idea. What's her
is
idea, Isaac?
she is like she remembers back to the beginning where it's like the selling point is like you get a better version of yourself. So she has this idea to go and use the activator thing on herself. The clone trying to use the activator. And so
Yeah.
she goes home and finds the vial that she was supposed to discard and like shoots herself up with it. And like
The
it works.
combination of it being a partial dose because she was supposed to use all of it, but she didn't.
Yeah.
And then also she's making a clone of a clone.
They say that it like you are the Matrix, like the main person, you are the Matrix for this. And then that's the other person. So they can't one cannot exist without the other kind of thing. And so sort of.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. But anyway,
For the
so she
moment.
does this and like the iris thing happens again. Except this time
This is what Merrick was bringing up. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Mo.
Yeah, so
What
then
happened?
it's like a whole bunch of ones instead of just one other, and immediately
There's
I'm like,
8 of them in her eye.
That's not
Yeah,
supposed
they
to
just all
happen.
just split like a big cluster cell.
So this big like Cronenberg like creature like comes out of her like she's all
I gotta
fucking
say,
deformed.
the design is amazing. The reveal of it is so well
Mhm.
done because
It is.
Yes.
they mirror the first time it happens when Sue comes out of the body and she wipes the steam off the mirror to see herself. This new clone comes out and lifts its head up to see the grotesque mishmash of body parts. There's like a row of teeth across the chest, which I found a perfectly disgusting
That was
aspect.
Yes, it
awesome.
was.
And
There's
the
like a big
arm growing out the
bulbous
back.
head.
Oh,
There's a wretched like craned arm growing out the back, and Demi Moore's face, Isabella Sparkle's face is on the back as well, like in like locked in that position.
and it's sentient. Like it's its own.
It's sentient, yeah. Like it's moving around and like gasping
it's
for
multiple of them. It's like multiple beings fused into one. And it's like literally, I literally
Minion
almost
from
threw up.
Spy Kids, remember?
I almost
Minion?
threw up through that entire like all of it. Like from the time that shows up.
It was very well done. Like that was crazy.
At one point, like at a later point in it, I'll actually bring it up when we get to it. So like she goes through this thing, like she's this grotesque thing, but she's like, "It's my day," you know, like this thing, and it's got this like fucking sloth from Goonies voice.
Yeah.
And like it gets all dressed up in the dress, and it's like ripping the dress as it's trying to pull it over its grotesque body.
There's a big boob exposed, right there.
Like she doesn't have any ears to put the earrings in, so she just takes she just like sticks them in where the ears. She sticks them in where the ears would be on this grotesque thing. And she's like,
supposedly.
Yeah.
And they get. So she goes back to the stage to the show.
Taylor, I don't know how you feel about the ending, but personally,
okay, go. You go.
I felt it was a little sloppy.
I liked it. Are we talking about? Wait, are we talking
here's
about?
the thing.
Are we talking about the
hang
blood
on.
bath,
Let
or
me
are we
explain. So from the part where she's on stage and she's dressed up and she's got like the little paper face of Isabella, and it falls off and everyone starts freaking out. First of all, the audience freaks out really weird. Like they wait way too long to start screaming, and then they start screaming one by one, and I'm like,
I leaned over to Mo and I went, "Don't everybody scream at once."
Yeah, don't everyone scream at once. Like, have you people ever screamed at a monster before? You're not doing it right. So then, like the body becomes unstable. Clearly, I'm surprised it lasted this long, and the arm like snaps and breaks and starts spewing blood all over the audience. And
it was at this
that
point
was good.
I
I was
liked
at this
that.
point, like at some point in this scene, whether it was the boob like coming out of her eye and
Oh
falling
yeah,
down to the ground,
yeah. Her eye
or it
like
was
Yeah,
birthed a
she like
boob.
threw up a boob.
She threw up a boob.
yeah,
I thought that was funny.
yeah, but
That was
or
funny.
whatever it was. Like I literally just went. I literally like I was sitting at one spot and Mo was sitting next to me, and I just involuntarily went. And Mo like freaked out, and he's like, "Aim that way."
Like throw up that way.
What?
Don't do it on
To
me.
be fair, you did that at me.
I
You did
did.
it
I
towards
went.
me.
Directly.
I'm
He
like,
did it
aim it
directly on
the
there.
other way.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
so
I legitimately almost threw up. Like I'm not even kidding, which is a compliment, by the way. Like it actually
so
is.
you keep saying. So you keep saying. But anyways, when the arm breaks and she starts spewing blood over the audience, I thought that was good at first, but then it started to be way too much blood, and it started going on for way too long. I think
What
it
was
was
the
probably
joke?
a solid 2 full minutes of just blood splurting over the whole audience,
Mo,
and it's
what was
like,
the
all
joke
right,
you
it's
made
you're
about it?
losing your luster here.
You made a joke about that after the movie because like there was so much force to it. You said something like the heart would need like 17
Oh
Yeah, it's
fucking
yeah,
got like
arteries.
47,000 chamber heart.
which is not impossible here. So and then
Yeah.
so the audience members come up and start just beating on her and punching her and
They're
hitting
all
her and stuff like
fleeing
a
and freaking
pinata.
out.
Right. So then she runs out of the building and she's running away down the road. And her leg just explodes into a mess and she just falls and splatters across the pavement. And then the face on the back, the sentient face, is able to control like the flesh around it, and it just inches
Like
over to
undulates towards.
yeah, and places the face itself over her star on the Walk of Fame. And then she looks up in the sky and she's like, "Ah, the sparkles, the stars. I'm home." Like some kind of something like that. And
Yeah.
and then it just melts into goo. And then
It melts
Street
back into
Sweeper comes
ketchup.
and melts back into ketchup, just like the beginning, just like the burger on that guy's shoe. And
Yeah.
I think that was a little too much, and I think just like the whatever montage of sparkles and "you did it, we love you" and all that she was in her head when she was dying
Yeah.
was a little too much. Honestly, I think it should have exploded. Like her leg explodes, she falls to the ground, and the face of Isabella on her back just rolls out and lands lifelessly on the star,
Mm,
and then it zooms out from that.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been like a nice, subtler touch
Mm,
than
okay. I
crawling
see.
over to it in weird CGI and
yeah.
then like the weird sparkly thing. Like I thought if it
What
just
was
landed there would have been much better.
Yeah, one
Okay.
moment the other moment in that scene where I'm sitting there is I'm like you know what's coming. You know it's going to end up on the stage and all this stuff. And like they're showing the audience and all this stuff and it's like, "Oh, fuck, there are children in this audience."
Yeah.
Like that was ugh.
And the dancers, like the backup dancers, not the monster,
They
just
were
have their
literally had their
boobs out. They just have their boobs
yeah.
out. I'm like, there are children here. This is the New Year's
That was
Eve.
actually really funny because I'm sitting there and I'm
This is
like,
going
"Oh
on
my god."
TV.
Yeah, because they show the children,
Who
and I'm
are
like,
you
oh
people?
god, there's children here. These poor children are gonna be traumatized. And literally, like 30 seconds later, they show the dancers with their boobs bouncing while they're running, while they're moving, and I'm just like, there are
Hey,
children
hey, I'm sure Taylor can back this up. California,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Taylor, what
California.
was it
They
that you
couldn't find
liked
a
about the scene
babysitter
though?
for those poor
You
kids. Okay,
you
Couldn't find a
you said
babysitter.
you liked the scene.
I did. I want
Yeah.
to defend it because
Okay.
while I do agree that the bloodbath was a little strange in the fact that the fact that the booby bouncer dancers didn't even like make any faces at each other when there's literally an
Yeah,
arm growing out the
they,
back.
they
Right.
I do
literally just
agree.
stood there. They just stood there.
Yes.
I know,
And I
like, oh,
get
the
that
show must go on,
you're
but
trying
now
to,
when there's a
right.
fucking
They didn't even
atrocity right there, I would just be like, oh my god, get
Oh
out.
yeah,
yeah.
we forgot the important part of this though. Like
Uh-huh.
she scrambled her way there, but before she left the house, she like pulled a face like
I
the face off the poster.
I mentioned that.
Oh,
Yeah,
did
you
you?
mentioned
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like if like falls off, that's when people start getting concerned.
I do agree that that was a little strange, and I do think that the scene went on for too long. I feel like that it could have stopped. I
Yeah.
really did like the scene where her arm broke off and she was twirling in the dress and they had
Yeah.
the bird's eye view shot. I liked
Yeah.
that. And it also brought it back to the whole like this is a show. She's dancing, she feels pretty because that's
Yeah.
what the monster was trying to
Yeah.
do was feel pretty. And I liked that. It did go on a little long. But I
Yeah.
really, really liked after that. I liked how she left. She mostly, she exploded into guts and stuff, but I really liked the whole face thing. I liked how it was a separate sentience because it
Yeah.
drove home the whole you are one thing. But also I liked
Yeah.
how
I
it
mean, it
in
kind of didn't.
I mean her
I mean, if it's a
I
separate
mean
sentient, it's not the whole you are one thing.
right, and
Well, I mean,
obviously
it's a
it's going to
part of
be
her.
different because
Yeah.
it also she misused the substance, so it's not going
Yeah.
to be exactly
Right.
how it's designed.
I
But I
I just think
like
like okay, even if the face is alive, I think it would have been better to like tumble a bit after the explosion or like kind of like die on the star without anything like the fact that it was like crawling over to it in bad
I liked
CGI
that though.
and
I
then
think and
I
setting
yeah,
aside the quality of the CGI, I liked how I mean that was the whole point of this. Her whole
I mean,
life was her stardom. And she is making first of all they made it full circle with the star, so I did like that,
yeah.
but the fact that she was inching towards
yeah. No, I thought
what
Yeah,
defines
no,
her,
like
like
that's
that's what she lived for, and if she's going to die, she's going to make her last moments be where she was happiest, which was stardom on her star in the fame in the
no,
spotlight. And I thought
I
that
get
her
that.
interesting.
inching and
Okay.
reaching towards
Yeah,
it and
I can get
traveling
that
back,
where it's like she's still
That
desperately trying to cling to it.
All
Like
right,
yes.
I get that.
that actually puts it in a fresher light. See, it's these things that I am not particularly fond of. Like when someone has to like explain it after the fact and then oh, you get
Mhm.
it.
Cuckoo.
For me, I like yeah, like in the moment it felt really weird and I didn't understand it and like I what is happening? I don't get it. It's weird and not in a good way weird. It's just
Yeah.
like I'm lost. What is the
Yeah.
point of this? I
Even
think you could have handled this better. But like that
but
does put a turn on it, and I
yeah.
understand the kind of
Yeah.
metaphorical thing they were going for. Like she wants to,
Yeah.
like you said, her last moments in
She's
the
still
stardom,
desperately trying
quite
Mhm.
literally.
to
I
feel like the star.
I
Yeah.
want to say I don't hate the ending. I actually really like the ending. I like all
I
that thing.
do.
I just think it's a little tiny bit rough. I think they
Yeah.
should have polished some of the scenes a little bit. Like I think the
This
blood spurting
movie
went on too long, and I think it's
Yeah.
like again, I
the,
don't know what
the
they should have done, but I think they
you wanna
could
know
have done
why?
something slightly different. Yes, Isaac. What?
You wanna know why I think that scene seems sloppy? Because every other aspect, literally everything in this movie up to that point, you can feel how deliberate and how thought out everything in this movie is. Until
Yeah,
we get to that scene, and it feels like some of it just gets thrown out the window a small bit, just because it's like, well,
because
they used it
it's
wrong.
the full
Yeah,
monster movie, so now it's
yeah.
like the she's a mess, so now the movie's a mess.
a small bit, but
not a mess,
not
but
a mess.
you know
But
what I
you can.
mean.
It feels a little more willy nilly than the rest of the movie did.
Yeah.
It's not.
Like
It's still obviously they thought it through, but it just doesn't feel as thought through as the rest of the movie did.
right. You were able to perfectly follow along with exactly what's happening, exactly what she's feeling, and exactly what's going on up until the point where she becomes a monster, where you have to now infer information from her
Yeah,
feelings, from what's going on in her head, from what's
yeah,
going on. You don't get any dialogue, you don't get any like they get
yeah,
a little vague with the events and what's happening and what people are feeling and doing
yeah.
right at the moment. So
Despite the flaws the movie
Enjoyed
has,
it
it's a
though.
gorgeous
I liked
movie.
that.
yeah,
It's a good
okay.
I
movie.
We've been
liked that
going
they made it a little messy.
Yeah, we've been
yeah,
going for almost an hour for this. So
definitely an hour.
It's that good,
Yes,
guys.
yeah,
we have been a full hour,
yeah,
which yeah, we'll take care of it. Okay.
yeah.
Are there any other last points before we go on to the rankings for this movie?
Yeah. Anything? Alright.
Mo?
Mm,
Oh, you got anything to add?
Uh, I'm I'm glad we didn't see this movie right after we ate.
Yeah.
Especially since we
Guys,
also
I
got
was
ice cream and we had the major Zymes. Like in our
Yeah.
last movie, Isaac, I'm sure you noticed, I got up before the movie started. I got up like 5 times to go hawk up major loogies because I didn't want to swallow that shit.
Yeah.
Like if we watched this last, I probably would have actually thrown up.
guys, I was
Probably.
Yeah.
snacking during the movie. I was leaning forward. I was snacking.
No, we were like
I
full
loved it.
to the point of being sick. Like we were like
Oh,
kind of
Yeah.
kind of
I
oh,
kind of
I
We got
full.
the last one, yeah.
We had the
I
Zymes,
yeah,
as they say.
I could have thrown up just from being full, honestly.
That's
Yeah.
If it
true.
would been also with that movie, 100% I would have.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Right.
all right. Well, I
Yeah.
think with that we should move into the rankings, guys.
Yep.
does
Mo.
Mo want to go first?
Again. Well, yeah, I was gonna say Mo's joining us for this one, so he gets first crack.
All right, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10.
Excellent.
All right.
It was
Taylor?
very good.
Yeah.
Is that
Interesting.
you want to say
Yeah.
anything more, Mo?
I mean, we've kind of already said everything we have to say about the
That's
movie.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Taylor?
I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10. I loved it. Period.
Mid 9. Nice.
Pretty good, pretty high.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna give this an 8 out of 10. Like I'm very impressed with the practical effects, very impressed with the gore and the body horror. Like I said, a lot of modern body horrors try to do it just for body horror's sake, but I think the substance and the implementation and the process, it was very, very well thought out, and it gave purpose and reason to the body horror, and I think that's just as important when doing something like this. I again, I thought this was great. I thought it was a little sloppy at the end, but nothing that would ever come close to ruining the movie for me.
Oh yeah, no.
Too many movies are perfect and then are just ruined by terrible endings. But I'm so glad this didn't come to that. And then little nitpick things throughout the film I thought were a little silly and ridiculous, but again, nothing that would ever drag it down so far. Very, very good movie. I highly recommend. I was surprised exactly at how good this actually was.
Yeah. I'm also giving this movie an 8 out of 10. It's one of my higher 8s. Like I've given a lot of 8s this year.
Yeah,
But this is definitely one of my higher.
which is a
It's
good
not at the
thing.
top. It's not at the top of my 8s. There's a couple movies above it, but it's pretty up there. Like the only reason it's not a 9 is because other movies that I've put at 8 are better than this. Like that's the only reason it's not a 9. No, no,
Fair enough.
like by the stage I've set for myself, it has to be an 8. No.
enough. All right. Well, Taylor, that'll wrap us up here. Thank you for joining us for our first two movies. Thank you for being back on the podcast.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to do this again. Love it.
Yep. When you come back home, hopefully we can get a squeeze a movie in, and then you can join us on the podcast in real life, even.
Oh,
Yeah.
at least one. At least squeeze one
At
movie in
least
there.
one. At least
We will
one.
get
We
at
got it.
least one.
At least one.
All right. Well, thank you for
Maybe
joining
Maybe we
us
can get a
again.
40x in. Maybe if we could
Maybe.
convince to get down to a 40x
I don't know.
in winter.
I don't
If
know
we could go
about
see
that.
Red 1 in 40x, I would die. I actually would.
Isaac might die, and I'll have to do the podcast alone. So
You
Positive
say
or
that as
negative,
if you
take
don't
that
have
from you.
2 other people here.
It's true. All right. So thank you,
Uh,
Taylor.
All right. Bye, Taylor.
Thank you. Talk
Bye.
to you guys later.
But
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Moving on to our next movie, Never Let Go. Isaac, please take us away, sir.
When an unspeakable evil takes over the world, the only protection for a mother and her twin sons is their house and strong bond. Needing to stay connected at all times, even tethering themselves with ropes, they must cling to one another and never let go. However, when one of the boys questions if the evil is real, the ties that bind them together are severed, triggering a terrifying fight for survival. Wow, that synopsis is better than the entire movie. Reading that synopsis is better than the whole movie. I'm gonna say that. Like, I had a much better visual image in my head reading that than the entire movie provided. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah. I'm just gonna give it to you straight, guys. This is gonna be a very short one. We were unfazed by this movie. I think I can
I
speak for all
remember
of us.
almost nothing specific from this movie. I remember maybe
You
3
saw it
specific scenes.
yesterday.
I know.
You just talked at length for a full hour, by the way, about another movie that you saw even longer ago.
Yes.
That's how much nothing this movie is. I
This movie
felt
has
so
almost nothing to it.
disappointed. It felt like Arcadian. Going off from the trailers, I thought it was going to be more like Arcadian, that Nicolas Cage
Yeah.
movie that we unfortunately missed out on, but we have seen
Yeah.
since and is very good. Some of the best creature designs I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely.
Go check that out if you haven't.
Please do.
But this, I was waiting for something. There's gotta be something, and then there wasn't.
There never was.
It was so hard to be interested in this.
Mo, did you have? You said you sounded like you had something to say.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They did in fact let go.
They did. That is
Multiple times, in fact.
Yeah,
multiple
All of
times.
them.
They should.
All
All
of them.
three
All
of
of
them. All
them
three
did.
of them
So,
let go
here's the
multiple
problem.
times at some point.
You know what
They
the
should have
biggest
called it
problem with the movie
"Sometimes
is?
We Let Go."
Yeah, sometimes we let go.
Sometimes we let go. We call the
We do a
movie.
little bit of letting go here.
It's called "We Do a Little Bit of Letting Go."
Yeah. So you know what the big crux, the big crutch this movie has? The big one is that the problem you have going into it is that I shouldn't have said crutch. Crutch is the wrong word. But
I know what the crutch is.
whatever.
Halle Berry. That she's holding up the whole movie.
Like literally, the only reason people are
If
coming
it
to see
wasn't
this.
Halle Berry, I don't think
It's either
anyone...
Halle Berry. It's either they're going to see Halle Berry, or they're going because they think the premise was interesting. But even if you think the premise is interesting, the problem is you only have one of two ways that it ends up being, and you know
Exactly.
the answer is either the evil is actually real, or she's just crazy.
Right, because you find out very quickly that Halle Berry, the mom, is the only person who can see this evil.
Yeah, which
So
is a major red
immediately
flag.
it calls into question whether it's real. real or not, because she also
Yeah.
mentioned her mom being able to see the evil, and that's why the house was built in the first place. So it
Yeah.
you kind of get the feeling that, oh, it's schizophrenia, like
It's like
it's
generational schizophrenia.
genetic.
Yeah.
It's genetic, so you could if you one of the boys starts seeing something, then you can expect it to be, oh, he's showing signs of that.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
they really don't go in depth onto anything, because there's a point in the movie where they have the confrontation where the boy locks the mom in the shed, and he's like, it's not real, you gotta face it, you gotta do this. And then she's like, I lied to you, I brought the evil with me, like I brought it in. What does that mean? What does that mean? We don't know. Like there's
Yeah.
so much, there's no world building whatsoever, and I know you need to do that for like plot reasons, for to hide the twists or the questions or something, but give me something, anything. Like there's no substance here.
Yeah.
So
No. And go ahead, Mo.
no, you go ahead.
You don't ever talk. Go.
So uh I have a question really. Was there like a way to tell if the evil was there? Because I mean, she did the thing where it's like, oh, put your hands on the wood and say the thing. Would
Well,
I
that?
like,
think that was I
is there
think
a
that's
way
because
to tell if you're
the
possessed?
evil's not able to say the words,
Or so
because
like
Okay,
it's
like
so
the
they
like
could
a
have done
house?
it.
blessing, a prayer.
They could have said it. They could have told that one guy to do it to make sure.
They
Well, I
could
mean,
have.
they would have to bring him in the house first, which is
Yeah, and
the
that's the thing
no
is
go.
the no. It's
Ah,
not able to
I
enter the
guess
house. Like it's not able
because
to even enter the house.
they had to put their hands on the door in the
The only
whatever.
other thing, one of the three things I remember about this movie is that in order for the evil to get in the house, it needs to possess one of them, and it possesses
Yeah,
them by touching them. That's one
yeah.
of the three things I remember from this movie. The other two are are the fact
The
that like,
disappointment.
well, first off, they like I was still sitting here being like, oh, it's still fake because the mom ends up in that shed scene you're talking about. The mom ends up killing herself rather than
Yeah,
let the evil touch her. So she ends up killing her babies because it keeps saying
yeah.
that is like because it said that in that scene where it's like, I'm gonna make you eat your babies. And like, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah,
I'd rather kill myself than do it. She kills herself, and you can even in that moment be like, she's still just crazy. Like she just
yeah.
killed herself
Pretty
rather
much.
than do this kind of thing. And it's like, okay, cool. But then we get to the third thing I remember, which is the disappointing reveal that the evil is real.
Oh, Israel.
Yeah, Tomar.
It's real. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, like
I
that's
mean, they
ye-
did a pretty
it's
good
kind of it's
job
pretty,
making it seem like she's fucking crazy, because I'm just like,
but it was
she's a fucking
still
crazy bitch.
disappointing that it was real because that's like
Yep.
what we expected.
Because
and,
that's
and
these days, that's more of a twist, is that she really was crazy the whole time and she killed herself and her husband and her parents for no reason. And
Slingshot.
that would have been more horrifying. Like Slingshot is. Like Slingshot, the fact that, oh, it really was real,
yeah,
and spoiler alert for Slingshot again, oh, it really was real, and he did eject himself out into space and die for no reason, like a
Yeah,
purposeless death. That's shocking. That's horrifying. That's substance.
because
It makes you feel something.
there's even all of the little holes you can poke in the story. Because they're
Yeah.
talking about like I had a life in the city before everything
We don't get
happened, but
anything,
they're like, but they're
nothing
also
about that.
talking about the fact that like he built the house for her mom, like her dad built the house for her mom for this, and also like the boys exist, and they're like only
Yep.
maybe 10 at max is the
Yeah.
oldest, maybe something like that, and it's like
They they don't explain a whole lot, and it's not
Like,
like,
there's
oh, it's
so
like,
many.
oh, it's left up to mystery, and it's like, no, like you didn't give us enough setup, is what it
The
is. It's
movie
like
would have been a
I
much.
don't have a reason to care
Yeah.
about any of these people yet,
It would have been. I cared
and the
about the
movie's
dog more than
over.
I cared about them.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot that they were almost gonna kill the dog at one point. I was
The
like,
mom wanted
oh,
to
is
kill the
Taylor
dog,
not
and
gonna be
that's
able
what
to
triggered
watch
it.
this? It's like,
Yeah,
oh
they
my god.
Yeah.
almost.
I was like, oh, is Taylor not gonna be able to watch this now?
Yeah,
But then the
but
dog
like
lives, so
it's.
you're good.
But like it
Honestly, the
reveals that.
main
But that's the other thing is that it reveals that the evil is real. It reveals that it's real. But also the rest of her story is complete horseshit because the rest of the world exists. It's still
Yep,
there. They
the
get
evil
rescued
was
by fire
just
and rescue.
he was just out in the woods, just for
Like,
fun.
what the fuck?
I don't know. The only thing notably I remember thinking during this movie is because the mom shows the kids the camera and it's like, there's one photo left. I want to save it for special occasion. And after the older of the twin brothers gets possessed, he burns down the house, and then as it's burning, he turns the camera around and takes a selfie of him with the house burning. And I'm like, they literally just gonna end this movie with that one meme of the girl smiling in front of the burning house. That's how the movie ended.
Yeah.
That's how the movie
Yeah.
ended, with that meme. That's the ending of this movie. And I'm like, come the
It's
fuck
him
on.
staring out. It's
Come the
him
fuck
staring
on.
out. And it's like, is it supposed to mean like the evil was also trapped in the forest? And like now that it possessed
No,
the brother, it has a way to get
it
out or
had the
something?
hand on it. No, it had the, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Like the movie is
This is
super
already
vague
too
about
much.
everything.
It's super vague. It's super nothing. They don't give you any setup. They don't give you any reason to care about the characters. They don't give you any character at all.
And I know it
They have
feels like we're rushing through this, but there's literally
there's
not much to
really
say about
nothing
it.
to
Nothing to
say.
talk about.
The movie is just kind of a
It's
big nothing
so
burger.
nothing. It's so nothing.
I
It was
since
so
since
disappointing.
the
Nothing
since
bad
the
and nothing
evil
good either. It's just
since
nothing.
since the
Mid.
evil monster like was real, I wish they showed it more.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they showed it for like what it really looked like for one scene before it died? Question mark?
I don't know. I don't know. It
It
exploded
was just weird.
out of the mom's
Also,
back, so that looked pretty cool. That
you
was
could
it.
tell one of the you could tell one of the brothers was a better actor than the other one as well. Like one of the kids was a better actor than, and it was surprisingly the younger one. Like the younger kid was a better actor than the older one was. But
Alright.
it was just kind of
We
nothing. It was just nothing.
Yeah, I think we can speed run this and get straight to the
Yeah.
rankings on this one.
Yeah.
I was kind of disappointed in this. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 because, like I said, perfectly mid. It's perfectly nothing. Not good, not bad. It just is. I don't
Yeah,
know. That was an
I'm
hour 40 of my life.
yeah, I'm actually giving this a 4 out of 10. It normally would be a 5 out of 10, but as we know, I take disappointment into factor, and like I thought this movie was like, cuz they've been hyping the shit out of this movie in the trailers. Like I've seen this
I mean,
trailer so many times. Like I've seen it,
I haven't.
yeah,
I've
Merrick
seen
went
it
into
both in
completely
theaters,
blind.
on YouTube, and on Hulu. I've seen it in all three spots. And like I was disappointed by it because I thought it would be it was a cool premise, and they just did
Yeah.
fuck all with it.
Merrick?
I'm also gonna give it a 4. Just because I mean it would have been better if she was just crazy, and
It
or
would
if
have.
they showed the monster more.
That's
Yeah.
true. I think so. All right. Well, we probably set a record on that one.
Yeah.
But let's move on to, another one we probably don't have a lot to speak about either, but in a, brighter light. The
Yeah.
Killer's Game.
Absolutely.
Isaac, if you'll take us away on that.
So, diagnosed with a terminal illness, top hitman Joe Flood decides to take matters into his own hands and take a hit out on himself. However, when the very men he hires also target his ex-girlfriend, he must fend off an army of assassins and win back the love of his life before it's too late.
Yeah.
I
So
think that's a
Isaac, go ahead and
pretty
say it.
good. This movie was so fun. This movie was so fun. I love
It was a
this
bunch of
movie.
stupid fun. It was a turn your brain off and just enjoy it.
Exactly.
It was
You know
fun.
what? This movie was it was fun in the way that like Beekeeper was fun. And like
Yeah.
other ones were.
Yeah.
Like this was
I
just
mean,
really fun to watch.
both movies, not masterpieces, full of flaws. But
Yeah.
it was just shut up, watch it, it's fun.
Yeah, like a lot of also the action in this movie was very, very cool. There was a lot of really good scenes, like one of the first ones that's memorable to me, because that's one of the problems this movie has. There is action, but it takes a while to get to it. Like the
Yeah,
first
it's a
like
slow burn.
45 minutes of the movie, the first like 45 minutes of the movie is him like getting like falling in love with this girl and like working that balance kind of thing, and then he gets his diagnosis, and die slow and comfortable in a hospital and have his girl, the love of his life, watch him deteriorate from this disease, he just decides to take a hit out on himself so that way, you know, his money,
She can
like he can
collect
take out,
the
he gets to
life
collect the
insurance
life
then.
insurance and all this stuff. Yeah, but like he
Yeah.
also breaks up with her like right before the hit takes effect, and then also right before the hit takes effect, he finds out from the doctor that, oh, they fucked up your lab work. You're okay. You're gonna
Yep.
live. And so he tries to cancel the contract, but the person he went to put out the contract hates him. So she just is like, nah, you're gonna fucking die. So she just sends a shitload of assassins at him. And it's him just
Yeah.
trying to survive. And that's basically the formula for the rest of the movie. But like I liked the assassins that they send at him. Like there's all the different groups and
Yeah.
stuff. Like there's the Korean
There are a
group.
lot.
There are a
There are
lot.
a
Yeah.
lot, but they're all pretty fun.
And they all get their own little moment, like to introduce who their character is and stuff.
Yep. I
Which
thought the
some may,
introductions were really good
yeah, like some people
because
would look at that and be like, "Ugh, I don't care about this. Just get back to the main guy," kind of thing. But I thought it was very, very well done. It showed how like weird and eccentric each group of characters is.
and how like expansive the whole like killer's game
Yeah.
world is. Because like, and he knows like all these people. It's like, oh hey, and they're like, hey, nothing personal but money.
Yeah, they all know who each other are. Like it's kind of
Yeah.
cool. Like I like that.
Yeah.
And like
They
go ahead.
they went and like did a little thing to introduce the other Hitman characters, kind of like Bullet Train.
Yeah, cuz
Yeah.
like it would show the character and then it would flash back and give you like
Mhm.
a little bit of like background on them. And it was kind of cool.
And they
like
had
each person
well, I don't want to say title cards, but like kind of like intro labels. Like they would have their names spelled out and stuff, like in the blood. Like it was very reminiscent of the Suicide Squad of how
Yeah,
they
I was just
did
about to say that. Yeah.
stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
they would like
Is this
two guys
some
on
kind of
motorcycles.
killer's game?
Like they would have two guys on motorcycles like drive opposite directions and rip a guy apart, and then his blood splattered would spell out their name.
Yeah,
And they
like
they
it
did
was
cool
cool.
stuff like that. It looked pretty cool.
But
Mhm.
like all the and each group had like their own kind of like thing as well. Like the
Yeah.
first group that come at him is like the Korean gang. And like
They were
that was a
fun.
cool
They
fight.
were fun.
That was a cool like the first thing that pops out in my mind for this movie is like he kills one of the Korean girls by like he breaks like this thing and just like shoves her neck down on the jagged glass and like
And then
runs
just
her neck across it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty brutal.
That was so good. And like one of the girls has like these yin yang blade things. that she
Mhm.
like has that she like can like spin around on her fingers and like throw and stuff like that. And like the way he kills everyone with those was really cool.
Mhm.
Uh the motorcycle guys, like that was a fun thing. And that's the coolest thing about them is like all the characters got enough time where I can say this dude or these guys, and I don't even need to give you names and you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like
Isaac, and your favorite guys.
the Scottish
I know
dudes. I fucking
the
loved them
Scottish
so
dudes.
much because they every single time they spoke, they put translation subtitles from Scottish to English.
Not
Like
not Scottish,
not
like
Scottish, it just
The Scottish
Accent
accent
like
to
oh, I'm
to
say
a
the
Brooklyn
English.
name.
than Aelin, like or something like that. Or just the
They
one
said
that
"fucking
fucking made
hell" and they said "aw,
yeah.
dang it," and
Yeah,
something
like
like
that
that.
killed me. They translated them going fucking hell to ah damn it. And it was so funny because it just persisted. Like, even if what they said perfectly translated to what it said to what it was, they still put it there. Just because it's
Yeah.
like they're Scottish and drunk. You won't be able to understand them. Here's some handy
So
subtitles.
what I liked about the bigger one specifically is, and you don't know this because you don't watch WWE from time to time like we do.
Yeah.
The bigger one was Drew McIntyre, who's wrestler as well.
Yeah.
So to see him fight Dave Bautista, like two WWE stars,
Oh yeah,
actually
we
fighting
forgot
out
to
in the
mention
movie, that
that
was
Joe
pretty
Flood
cool.
was played by Dave Batista. Oh,
I'm
and the
pretty
chick
sure
that he
anyone who
went to,
knows about you
yeah,
can see that on the poster right
yeah,
here.
and the chick that he went to for the thing was the chick who played Mantis. So it's kind of cool
Yeah,
that those two are interacting in a movie outside of Guardians of the Galaxy. Like that's kind of
yeah,
cool.
yeah. There were
But
a lot of interesting casts in here, but
yeah,
I don't
and
want to
like
waste time going through them
yeah,
all. But
the
like,
action, the
there were a lot
action
of
was really good.
yeah, yeah.
Like it was
Uh,
really cool and inventive. Like the Spanish dude who dances while he fights, and then they have like the sword fighting scene, and like he like what's up, Mo?
The in his introduction where he's got like the spurs on his boots and he axe kicks a guy in the
yeah,
chest.
yeah. That was
Yeah.
cool.
We after the movie, I remember you looking at me and being like, "That's gonna be Alex's favorite character." Like if we haven't
Yeah,
watched this,
yeah. It's just Alex's vibe to have like
like
guys like that.
it was just good fun. Like I don't really care about the plot, like the love interest thing. Like that was
It's a
cute.
John Wick. It's a John Wick clone. They're all fun.
Yeah, it's
Nobody,
like
uh, The Equalizer,
I feel like it's closer to Bullet Train
etc.
in the action quality. Like in the
Right, but
fun action
it
category.
yeah,
Like I'd lump in Kill with John Wick and Equalizer and all them, but like this is more Bullet Train.
yeah,
Like this is more
pretty
like
much.
it's just kind of fun action with a bit of
It's
really good
true.
fight choreography mixed in. And like I liked the kind of like, it's also kind of like a romantic comedy in a bit, like an
A little bit.
action romantic with it's an action comedy with a hint of romance is what it is more than
Yeah.
anything. Also,
I think
surprise character the Lord.
yeah. I think we can probably go on for another 20 minutes about, "Oh, this part was cool. Oh, this part is cool."
Yeah,
But
like it was just a
honestly,
fun movie.
if
Just
you
go see it.
it's just a fun movie. Just go see it. It's nothing special, but it's just fun. Um,
Yeah,
Again, I think we can probably just continue on and head up to the
yeah,
rankings again.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna give this a pretty hearty 6 out of 10. Top of my sixes.
Yeah,
It's nothing super special, but it's just fun. Again, it's just fun.
yeah, I'm also gonna put it in my sixes. Like I think it's just a lot of fun. It didn't quite break that 7 barrier, but it was just fun. I can't like I literally said Like when we left the theater for that, like most of this was just gonna be us just going. It was just fun. It was just a lot of fun. Like that's
Yeah.
all I can really say about the movie. I don't have anything deep or meaningful to say about it. It was just a good, just enjoy the movie, you know?
Eric?
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I'm also gonna give it a 6 out of 10. And Isaac, you brought up Beekeeper earlier. I think that one also we all gave 6 out of 10. So
We
That's
did.
true. It's a spiritual
very
successor
they're
to
similar.
Beekeeper. Except this time it's
It
not written by
is.
Kurt Wimmer.
True.
Alright. That should
uh,
wrap it up for the podcast here. Isaac, would you like to give us a real fast rundown of next time?
yes, next time we will have Transformers 1, uh Speak No Evil, Am I Matt Walsh's Am I Racist? And we should also have the Wild Robot. There it is. Finally we
There we
get the
go.
Wild Robot. I'm actually
Yeah.
really excited for that one. That one
Yeah,
I'm
looks
really
fun.
excited for.
Looks like a
So,
nice time.
yeah.
All right. All right, everybody. That should pretty much wrap up the podcast here. Be sure to subscribe because it keeps us going back to the theaters and keeps us bringing more videos and podcasts to you. Be sure to check out our Letterboxd at Cinema Kellen and Regular Isaac and Other Cheese, respectively, of course. And until next time, guys, that's a wrap.
Roll credits.